Burning Abyss here, finally back with another video. I know it's been a few weeks now, guys, but I wanted to update I want to update the decks that I have right now, or that you guys have seen. I know I haven't updated Dragon Link in a long time, and even though I don't think it's fallen off, I guess it's fallen off compared to what it used to be. It's definitely still a pretty solid deck, and I still love the deck a lot. So I thought I would show you guys my updated Dragon Link deck profile for this format right now. I know the balance is around the corner, so depending on how the balance is, the deck will change. If there's not any significant changes in the balance, then I'm probably not going to update the profile for a while. But for now, I do want to do a profile for this Phantom Nightmare format that I'm running. And yeah, I'll probably be updating, giving you an update on my Canadian deck profile soon. And there is a few other decks that I'm very close to finishing that I will have on the channel soon that I've never profiled before, so stay tuned for that, guys. But yeah, like I said, Dragon Link, I think it's not in the best place right now, but it's still a relatively solid deck. I would call it maybe like bottom of tier 2 or like very top of row type of deck. So it could definitely still get some wins, and yeah, that's it. Without further ado, guys, let's just get right into the deck profile. Alright guys, I'm going to be showing you guys the whole deck profile, and here we go. Top right in. So for the main deck, of course, we got the starter monsters, or I guess with their extenders, we got the 3 black metal with the 1 red MD. And then the chaos package, which is also, I guess in my opinion, part of like the starters and extenders. So we got 3 safer, the 1 black, white, the levy, and I guess the levy. So that's kind of like the starters and extenders that go together. I think definitely you want to have a way to play the game, of course, to start off the game. So that's why we max out on 3 and 3, trying to get the consistency of the deck really good. And both these cards are really good, honestly. I think Black Metal is better to play through Droll since it gets you a double search with Striker Dragon. But if you want like more combo type stuff, I do think that the Saferd is better if you don't get drolled. But both our cards are really good. Saferd also helps you recycle your level 8s like the Levy, Lubellion, things like that. So definitely a really good card. I do wish we could play a little bit less sometimes, just because I do think 6 normal summons is a little bit high, but drawing multiples of these cards is like, not the best thing, but you definitely want to draw at least one, so that's why we kind of max out on it. It's kind of like, a little bit ironic that you don't want to draw multiples, but you need to open at least one of them, so you need to up the count. So we are playing the 1 knock division. I really like the card. I've always liked that. I don't know, some people don't play this card, but I think it's a really good card. It's an extender to get to a draw. It can protect from targeting, like your back row from targeting effects. So that effect doesn't come up too much, but the other 2 definitely do. And it's, chain blocking like your Striker Dragon, and chain blocking your Romulus too, really good. But it's just 1 because I don't want to see multiples of it ever. And then for the Rocket package, we're playing 2 Tracer. I am playing the 1 Caliber, the Recharger, and the Abso Router. So yeah, playing this package here. I don't think you need any more than this. Some people don't even play the Caliper, but I think the Caliper is pretty cool. Like it's a good extender, and if you ever get into like a grind game, sometimes it does suck if you already went through Recharger and you don't have any more targets for Tracer. That does suck a little bit sometimes, especially if you weren't able to like recycle your Striker Dragon with Regained. It's pretty hard to utilize the rockets anymore. So I do think having the 2nd extender is pretty nice. So that's it for the rockets. And then going into the Bystials, we are playing 3 Lubellion, 2 Sarnier, 2 Druid's Worm, and of course the 1 Magnamut. So this is the package that I decided to go with. The Bystials, of course, are really good cards. They're good extenders. Being able to get Regained out is really, really good. Helps you grind game. And in some matchups, they are hand traps as well. So I definitely think this is fine. I was playing 3 Sarnier before, but I don't know. I mean, it's a good card and it helps you get to your Libellion faster. But if you ever open up like multiples, sometimes they're like, dead cards in hand, which you really don't want. Like, you really don't want to open up multiples, which is why I'm not maxing out on any of the Bystials. If the Bystials were better in the format, like if there were more light and dark decks right now, then I would probably play the third Sarnier and maybe a Baldrake as well, if Bystials were really good. But they're just okay right now. They're not really like too amazing, so I definitely don't think you need as many. And I definitely wanted to make more room for engine without increasing the deck count too much. So that's why I cut the one Sarnier. And then the Druid Swarm, of course, it does come up like non-destruction removal is pretty nice. So yeah, that's it for that. And then obviously Magnamut's obvious at that one, but it's busted. Going into the go in second cards, we got 3 Ash, 3 Nib, 3 Baylor, and 3 Imperm. So we're playing 12 hand traps, go in second cards. I definitely, you want to have a good amount of go in second cards in this format, especially if we're playing hand traps. And these are the most generic hand traps that hit almost every deck. Nib is a little bit more iffy, but I wanted to play it for a couple of reasons. One, Nib paired up with like Baylor or Imperm is really, really good into decks where Nib is good. Just because by itself, Nib is not always the best hand trap. And then the other reason is because Nib is another light monster. So you really want to have a good amount of lights for all your chaos stuff. So, with this we add 6 more light monsters. So that's pretty nice. And yeah, and of course, these 9 are very good into basically all decks, to be honest. So that is it for the going second stuff. And now for the spell cards, we are playing 3 Quick Launch, the 1 Chaos Space, the 2 Field Spells, and the Regained. I think this is pretty standard. I mean, Quick Launch is not once per turn. It's an E-Telly. Chaos Space, of course, busted. It's at 1. And then you need to play the 2 Field Spells. And the Regain, of course, target for Libellion. I don't play the Beast just because I really try to minimize. Like, honestly, the Field Spells and the Regain are already kind of bricky. Especially, I really hate drawing Boot Sector Launch. Like, Boot Sector Launch is definitely the worst one out of all of them, in my opinion. Drawing Ravine is still sometimes okay, depending on your hand. Sometimes it's actually good, depending on your hand. And Regain, I don't like drawing it, but it can be decent. But yeah, Boot Sector just sucks, because it's so easy to get with Striker Dragon, so... but yeah, since you already have like 2 semi-bricks and then like 1 hard brick, I didn't want to add another card I don't like to see when I'm going second. So I definitely think that Beast is not really, it's not really needed, to be honest. So that is it for the main deck. We are main decking 43 cards. Normally I try to go for 40 almost every deck list that I can, but because of what I just explained with the Regain, the Boot Sector, and the Ravine, I definitely think going a little bit above 40 in Dragon Link right now is fine. Since you don't, it lowers your chances of seeing some of these bricks. But now going into the extra deck, the 2 Link ones, the 1 Striker and the 1 Pisty. Again, very standard. Yeah, very standard, of course. For the Link 2s, we are playing 1 Seal, 1 Romulus, 1 Dark, 1 IP, 1 Azalea, and 1 SP Little Knight. Hieratic Seal and Romulus, very obvious, part of the, either end board or part of the combos for dragons. Dark, just all the dragons are basically dark, so it's just really easy to go into and take your opponent's SP or something. IP, it can be part of the combo, and it helps you go into SP on your opponent's turn or Azalea. And then of course these 2 cards, Azalea is not as standard, but I like Azalea because it's a way to basically get rid of back row or floodgates, basically, if you're able to do it. So I definitely like having the option of, and it's not just, it's any card really, but having the option for like back row removal, since this deck doesn't really have much, and we're not playing Beast either, which was the other way to get back row removal. So yeah, I think it can be a pretty decent card. And yeah, I mean, SP obviously, SP probably the most broken link in the game right now. Definitely needed. Now we are only playing one link 3, which is the triple burst, part of the combo. We're not playing the unicorn anymore, so but yeah, triple burst, of course, you need it. And then one access code and one Borrowland. Access code, of course, helps with certain OTK lines, and it's also nice to be able to use it as a way to remove cards, like pop back removal as well. And then Borland, of course, just broken card, even though it does get outed by Typhon. But if you don't have, if the deck doesn't have Typhon, it's like this card is pretty hard to out sometimes. So that is it for the links. Now going into the synchros. One Baron, one Dispatter, one Savage, and one Scarlight. This is what I'm playing for now. Of course, these two are very standard, Dissipator and Savage. I mean, they're really easy to go into, part of combos, things like that. Baron comes up, but not as much, as because sometimes you are dark locked, but it can come up sometimes, and obviously it's one of the best level 10s in the game. And then Scarlight helps with time, things like that. And it can also just be monster removal, so that's pretty nice. And it's, again, pretty easy to go into. The only thing sometimes, this is like the one, I mean, this and the Azalea are probably like the two flex spots. You don't necessarily need them, but they're nice to have. The only other monsters I sometimes consider playing is, I guess, Chaos Angel could be another option, since in some cases it can be a really hard card to out for some decks if you use a light and dark monster. And then sometimes, like I said before, the Unicorn could be a pretty good option instead of the Azalea. Or if you wanted to, you could also play the Typhon yourself. So, this could be a Typhon if you want to play Typhon. But yeah, that's basically. But this is the list that I'm playing, that I enjoy. Now going into the side deck, we are playing triple Droll and triple DD Crow for the monsters. Just Droll hits like things like Vanadium or other Dragon Link players. It's just a pretty good card. So it's a good side deck card, but I don't think it's needed in the main right now. And then DD Crow, if going up against certain decks that are not, light and dark based, I think you need a card like DD Crow to out their stuff in the graveyard. It could be good into Fire King. It could be good into, I mean, mostly the fire decks, to be honest, because they're mostly fire cards. So I think it's definitely a nice card to have in there. I mean, even also for like, since this also gets rid of not just monsters but Spoiler Traps too, you could use it against Pearly, things like that too. Then going into the spells, we got 3. I guess I'll finish off the going second card, I guess. 3 Cosmic, which, I mean, it could be good going first as well if you want to have it in for more back row decks. But Cosmic, it's nice that it banishes the card that that you target or get rid of. So that's really good. Hits the Fire King Island. It can hit, Labyrinth, things like that. Now going into the going first cards, we have Called By and 2 Talents. I'm not main decking the Called By right now, and also I didn't want to up the count right now, and I wanted to just focus on hand traps, so that's why I'm not playing Talents either. But I do think even going second too. And to certain matchups, I probably would. Even going second, I would probably put these cards in. But I do think that in this deck, they're probably better for going first. They help you get more pushes, things like that, or stop hand traps with like Called By. Since this deck, I do think this deck gets hurt pretty badly by Droll and Shifter. So definitely want to have these cards. And then talents, of course, is very diverse in what you can do with it. Of course, look at the hand, take your opponent's monster. So it's good going first or second. And then the last going first card, 3 anti-spell. And gotta have the floodgates in here. Just helps this deck solidify the win more, kind of thing. So yeah, guys, that's it for the Dragon Link deck profile. Let me know what you guys think. Hit a like, comment, subscribe, and if you enjoyed the deck. So stay tuned for more deck profiles coming up in the future, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.